Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Marit Hansen, and I'm heading up the G9 Offshore Wind Association. We have heard about very interesting tools now this afternoon, and I think that what we do in G9 is very much related to what we have heard. We are focusing on safety performance, but in our view that is very strongly related to O&M and quality performance. The G9 consists of 9 members, and you have seen some of these logos also already in this session. We also have a website. You will find the address of the website on the slide, so you can access that in order to learn more about our governance and how we are set up. I will not focus so much about that now. So what my focus now will be to tell you about where we are in the G9, what we have achieved, what we have learned so far, and where we are heading going further. So we get many questions about the role of the G9. So the G9 it comprises of the asset owners in the offshore wind industry, as you saw. So it is the companies that are developing and owning offshore wind farms, and we only focus on offshore wind energy. Our ambition is to lead the industry into a continuous improvement on safety. And the basis for the G9 was that we saw that the safety performance in the industry was not good enough when we compared it to similar industries. What we will do is that we will implement guidance and standards for safe work by using our contracts. And we will, if needed, also develop a good practice guidance documents together with our partner Energy Institute. But the key word for G9 is implementation, because we are the owners and we own the contracts, and by that we can implement improvement measures. So far, we have been operating now a work program for more than a year, and our work is evidence-based. We base our work on the incidents that we see in the industry and that we collect and analyze. The first thing we need to do is to design out risk. So the focus is very much on the design and to have a safe by design approach. We are also concerned about the robustness of procedures. We need procedures that are good, but also efficient and are able to be used out in the sharp end. And again, focus on implementation. We think that the G9 has a unique role when it comes to implementation, because we can actually set the rules of the game. We focus very much on communication in the implementation phase, and we focus on learning and continuous improvement. One of the key tools that we use is to capture and analyze incident data. The purpose of this is to share information about offshore wind incidents, so to learn from each other, also to share information on hazards to reduce the risk. And we think that by our frequent sharing of HSE incidents and risk, we have been able to reduce the risk in the industry. We also share learnings and alerts so that we are able to warn each other if there are hazards in one company that are not known in the other companies. So it's an efficient learning circle there. We started off actually quite early by capturing incidents. This is the first period of the incident reporting. Unfortunately, we had a little stop in the last part of 2012. So this is the whole year of 2011 and half year of 2012. That showed us that it was clearly three top risk areas. And that was marine operations, working at height, and lifting. So we did improve the incident reporting. And for the annual last year, 2013, we see that we have the same risk picture, but we also see new risks arising from more and more operational activities. So last year, we captured about nearly 700 incidents all in all. And of these 700 incidents, 66 of them was lost time incidents, where people had to be off work for a certain time. More than 50% of these incidents occurred on vessels. And this is quite important because offshore wind is a huge marine logistic activity, and we have to really understand that. And I think coming from Statoil, oil and gas company, that was actually a surprise to us how much marine activity that was involved in developing an offshore wind farm. So I think that is something, this is an area where we really need to focus. We see very similar causes that we see in other industries: slips, trips, and falls, falling objects, very high risk, back injuries from manual handling, knees and ankles the same, and cut and fractures. For this year, we have improved the incident reporting system even more, and we have agreed now to develop frequency data. And the purpose of that is to be able to develop trends so that we can compare with ourselves, with the performance, but also that we are able to compare with other industries. So for this first quarter, and this I must underline that this is very preliminary data, because this is our first cut of frequency data. We have this picture when it comes to incidents, and we had 10 incidents with lost workdays. Only one of them was reader reportable injuries. We have collected a little bit more than 4 million hours in the same period. So that, when we calculate that, we end up with a total recordable injury rate of 4.66 and a LTI, lost time frequency rate, of 2.45. And when we compare that with oil and gas producers, we see that we are in the same, on the same page, same level as OGP when it comes to TRI. That's very hard for me to say, but you know what I mean. But for the LTI, there is a huge difference. So we need to understand this better. This is, of course, again, only for the first quarter. When I compare this to the numbers we have in Statoil, we have the same indicator for total recordable injury rate, and our indicator for Statoil, our target is about 3. as I recall. Actually, for offshore wind, it's now 2 because we try to push this all the time. So we are in a kind of a comparable level of what we see in the owner companies. But this is something that we need to dig into and analyze. But it's quite exciting to be able to now compare and see trends. So, as you can remember, the top three risks of the industry was marine operations, lifting operations, and working at height. And based on this, we started a work program, and we have now signed up the final draft of 3 good practice guidance documents together with the Energy Institute. The public consultation with you guys is actually ending today. So we now go into a very, very exciting phase to see what did you think about these guidance documents? What is your response? How do you see the G9, the members, the roles, and what is your comments on what we plan to do? To put this into the contract. So we will have meetings, discussions with key stakeholders from now on actually, and in June. So looking a little bit forward, not so very far into the future, but for this year, implementation is the key task. We have already started planning the implementation. We have some ideas on how to do it, but we see that we need to mature this and we need to develop a common, harmonized approach to implement this in a robust way. And we have also identified 2 new risks that we are working on. Diving is one of them. Diving is an area where we have seen a large number of serious incidents, also incidents with fatalities, not so much among our own members, but in the German sector. We also have seen a number of serious, high potential near misses. And we think that diving operation is a very, very high risk operation. We know that from oil and gas, so we will work in close collaboration with organizations like IMCA in order to develop an approach to reduce the risk for diving in our industry. Also helicopter operation, a new field in our industry. We will first now analyze the risk picture and the level of activity using helicopters going forward. But this is something that we will definitely look into we start the last quarter of this year. Then we have been assigned a very interesting task by the Crown Estate, and that is called the Safe by Design workshops that was run as a workshop program by the Crown Estate, but this has now been handed over to the G9, and we are now, together with the Crown Estate, planning now to kick off the workshops early autumn of this year. Then we have the stakeholder forum. First time last year, we plan to have at least once a year a wide stakeholder forum where we invite our stakeholders, where they can interact with us, comment, ask questions, and hopefully we will be able to increase the understanding of the G9 role and how we are seen in the industry and among other stakeholders. And communication and interaction with stakeholders, as this is an example on, is also an important activity for us. So by that, I would like to thank you, and I know that the questions are not before end of the session.
Okay, thank you very much. Just like to say, IMCA's delighted to be working with the G9. as well as the diving initiative, we're one of the key consultation parties for the guidelines. There's one other initiative I just wanted to highlight, is that the IMCA for the last 20 years has issued safety flashes, and for the last year or so we've been issuing, G9 members and other affiliates of IMCA have issued safety incident data to IMCA, and IMCA have flashed 1 or 2 safety incidents every month in the renewable sector. They're made anonymous, but it gives you the kind of the key learning from each of those safety incidents, and it's been flashed out regularly. So if you go to the IMCA website and search for safety flashes, you can get probably 9 or 10 recent marine incidents in offshore renewables, and just pick up that key learning. So I think it's something great and something we can develop on for the future. So thanks for that.